The theme that I'm going to reflect on in my third lecture is on drought and the way that affects developed as well as underdeveloped or less developed nations. In the case of the UK, which is clearly a developed area and a relatively affluent part of the world, it's the money, stupid. It's about the implications of drought, both in terms of how money we might spend to overcome the problem of drought, and the implications as it sets in. And again, just as in the case of flooding, droughts will occur, even without climate change, that interesting and controversial overlay onto this theme. Droughts occur naturally from time to time. So trying to accommodate that is problematic. The east of England has actually a very low rainfall, the east and the southeast of England. It's comparable to some parts of the Middle East, actually. And we have a lot of people living in those countries, living in those parts of the country. If we want to build more houses, as we say we do in those areas, we are starting to reach the limits of where those houses cannot be serviced with the water that falls within the catchment areas, within the river basins that supply those areas. So it's a constraint on what we can do, and a problem for that point of view. We can't build houses if we can't supply them with water. If we want to get around that, there are some very expensive solutions. We could desalinate seawater, and in fact occasionally we do that. But it's extremely expensive, both in financial terms, and it's also extremely expensive in terms of carbon emissions. And one of the government's stated intentions is to reduce our carbon emissions. So we don't want to be spending a lot of energy, burning a lot of oil or gas in desalinating seawater or brackish water, and nor do we want to spend it pumping water around the country. Water is heavy. A cubic metre of water weighs a tonne, and we get through quite a lot of cubic metres in every house every day. So it's a financial implication that we're really looking at in terms of drought.